Consumption of meat and dairy and using animal products for certain materials may have been necessary at one point for human survival, but now it's completely unnecessary to exploit and torture living creatures who just want to live as much as we do. Although many may argue we don't really need to consume meat and dairy products, in reality we may be doing more harm than good, and that's just one of the many reasons why someone would turn to a vegan lifestyle. The purpose of my speech is to inform my peers about some of the benefits and why I chose veganism. I'm going to talk about how veganism benefits 1, our overall health, 2, the animals, and 3, the environment. To begin, veganism is a lifestyle which strives to exclude all forms of cruelty and exploitation of animals. This includes not using them for food, clothing, or any other purpose. Veganism has had a huge impact on our health in multiple ways. What I want to highlight on is how a vegan diet reduces our risk of developing many diseases, specifically cardiovascular, as well as how it aids in the preventing and even reversing diabetes. The cardiovascular system is just one of the many body systems greatly impacted by choosing to eat a more plant-based, whole food vegan diet. Thanks to the nutrient-rich diets full of vegetables, whole grains, and nuts, our bodies have a great chance of fighting off many life-threatening diseases, and specifically cardiovascular, such as metabolic syndrome and strokes. In addition, according to an article written by the Environmental Nutrition based on a study done by researchers at George Washington University and Physicians Committee for Responsible Nutrition, out of the 99 people who tested with type 2 diabetes, out of the 99 people who tested with type 2 diabetes, the 75% that followed a vegan diet for 5 months showed improvement on reducing or removing their diabetes altogether. In fact, 43% of the 75 who were vegan or who were on this vegan diet were able to lower their medication dose or stopping their medications altogether. When compared to non-vegetarians, those followed a vegetarian diet shown to have a 60% reduction of developing diabetes, and even better, those who were vegan raised that to 80%. And this is because for over 75 years, diets that contain high fat and more meat have been linked to diabetes. There are many benefits to consider when switching over to a vegan diet. Some of the other benefits that I won't go into depth about but are important to know is the risk reductions of developing obesity, gall and kidney stones, ulcers, and gastritis, as well as Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and muscular degeneration. The health benefits are great, but next I want to talk about the ultimate benefit, and that's to the animals. Animals are kept in confined cages where they are more than likely unable to turn around or lay down. And unless they're being transported, most animals don't get enough access to sunlight or fresh air because they're normally covered in their own feces. Many animals are also so closely packed together that they are forced to step on each other and forced to step on and live with the dead bodies of the animals that don't survive. There are many terrible things that are done to animals that are viewed as food, like cows, pigs, and chickens, or whatever animal chosen, but they all just want to live like everyone else. Animals get depressed, and they love and they nurture, and most people overlook the cruelty that animals endure, and this may be because of a variety of reasons, like poor education, traditions, or sadly, avoiding the information to keep up with their desired lifestyle. Something that not a lot of people think about is that animals do feel pain, and they are more intelligent than you may think. A great example to look at are the elephants, and who are close to extinction due to animal poaching. A book called Beyond Words, What Elephants and Whales Think and Feel by Carl Safrina follows a group of elephants for extended periods, and we learn that even though they can't understand the human language, they do in fact communicate and recognize with each other, as well as pass on information to their young. Elephants are known for presenting what they think, feel, and remember. They experience grief much like humans do, and they demonstrate that by touching their loved ones' bodies to say goodbye, covering deceased members of their families with dirt and leaves, and they even recurrently visit their grave sites. Elephants are also capable of playing and feeling compassion and annoyance. I also want to talk about a species that's been overlooked and exploited in the meat industry, and these are the pigs. Pigs are very smart. They perform well on tasks used to test the mental abilities of chimps, dolphins, and parrots, and they're very aware of their surroundings. This makes what they experience, like getting shot in their head, or being hung upside down and their throats slashed to bleed out, even more heartbreaking. Nikki, a domestic pig rehomed at the farm sanctuary in Watkins Glen, New York, escaped a gestation crate during the flood in Iowa. And although she was alone and without a home, she gave birth to her litter and nursed and protected them despite her stress, exhaustion, and hunger. Like humans, pigs feel. They get stressed and depressed, and it could affect their quality of life similarly to how it would affect humans. Rose, who is also a pig that escaped a gestation crate during the Iowa flood, was rehomed at the farm sanctuary, similar to Nikki. However, she lost her piglets. In turn, Rose refused to eat or play and had to be syringe fed. After workers moved Rose into the same pen as Nikki, they eventually started to co-parent and play together, and Rose began to thrive. This demonstrates the compassion and love that pigs feel, as well as the emotional pain and despair they experience like humans. Animals would be directly impacted for the better if humans would stop using them for their own personal gain. Many people think that just slaughtering is the worst it gets, but sadly they're wrong. Other terrible ways slaughter animals suffer is by being castrated or artificially inseminated over and over again. Beaks are seared off and tails are cut off. This is all done without any form of painkiller. Elephants in both Rose and Nikki's stories prove that animals do not want to die. They will fight and survive to the best of their abilities, and becoming a vegan will help with that, because it gives all animals, not just elephants and pigs, a chance to live and experience life with their families. For my visual, I want to start with Nikki and her piglets. Over here you have Rose. And then I also wanted to show off some of the ways that elephants play and interact and how they live their lives, and they don't just kind of roam. Lastly, a huge driving force that fuels one's desire to become vegan is the prevention of the harm to the environment. There are numerous dangers to the environment's faced because of the factory farming, but one I want to talk about is the contamination to our air and water sources. Manure is a main concern for our water system and in our air system, and is the main cause for the toxins that are floating around in them. A cow produces as much waste as about 10 people per day, and a pig is about 3 people. Each factory farm varies on how many animals they have, but on average, about 9 billion land animals are raised and killed for food each year in the United States. All the manure is produced and then it's put into an open air lagoon, and the water manure mixture is sprayed onto land. This is a problem because the land that it's sprayed on it usually is too small and doesn't absorb all of the manure water. And that can be very toxic to humans because it will go into our water system. Hog waste in particular contains many heavy metals and other substances that are toxic, so numerous people end up getting ill. A U.S. study was conducted that reported that those who live downwind from hog farms experience more headaches, runny noses, sore throats, coughing, diarrhea, and burning eyes. This is because methane, ammonia, and hydrogen sulfide was found coming from a 4,000 hog farm, which caused respiratory illnesses to people living up to 2 kilometers away. If the whole population was vegan, this would benefit the environment because factory farming would not exist. Therefore, there wouldn't be an abundance of waste to contaminate the water and air. To conclude, we talked about a few influencing factors of a vegan lifestyle and how becoming a vegan positively affects those factors. I spoke about how veganism affects 1, our overall health, 2, the animals, and 3, the environment. If you want to make a positive influence on this earth and save animals and the environment and improve your overall health, then adapt a vegan lifestyle. Obviously, it's unreasonable to think that everyone would change their lifestyle, but I do hope that you all start small and make small changes in order to make a big impact. It would also be nice if you spread all the information you heard today, even if you aren't ready to make a change, someone else might be.